Hi everyone, happy Thursday. How's everyone doing this week? It's been a week, hasn't it? Truly has. Thank you all for joining me today. As you know, it's that time of the month where we talk to a founder who we just love and adore, and I'm lucky that I get to talk to a wonderful founder here in Denver, Colorado. I have to say, female founders are some of my favorite humans on this planet. They're tenacious, they're hardworking, they're kind, and they're deeply, deeply honest. Because let's be honest, founder life is not all rainbows and puppies. It's definitely not. The founder I'm talking today is quickly becoming someone I admire on so many levels. Honestly, she's also becoming a friend of mine. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to sit next to her on a panel recently, and I was just really blown away by her vulnerability and her truth to herself and her founder story. She was very raw about things. She's very honest about things. And I think as a founder, it's important to showcase every side of what being a founder looks like. And she does that with such grace and ease and honesty. Today, she is founder of Mom Juice. Can I get a heck yes to that name? I just love that name. It's a wine company built around the concept of bringing women together and bringing mothers back to the communal moments are so special in those tight-knit communities. So very, very similar with what she said, what we're trying to do is that understanding is that female communities are very strong. And when we bring them together, they do some wonderful things. And that's what Mom Juice is trying to do right now. She's a Southern babe who's never really been afraid to get her hands dirty and has a strong appreciation for craft of winemaking. So please help me welcome the wonderful Kristin Taylor. Give me a second. Let's see if she comes down here. It's always the moment of truth if we get her on. So there she is.
Hi.
Yeah, my girl. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, baby. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. We're almost to the end of the week. It's great. Yeah.
It's that Thursday vibe. Like we see that weekend. It's like right there.
Mhm.
You can feel it, taste it. It's so
Like,
good.
can taste it. It's gonna happen.
Mhm.
No, but I'm great. I'm
Good.
great.
Good.
Thanks for
Good.
having me.
Of course, thank you for doing this, obviously. I was just telling everyone that you and I are new founder friends, that we got to sit on a panel together, and that I was really blown away by your honesty about what founder life is like. It's something you and I have really now started to have deep conversations about because,
Yeah.
as we know, that the founder life is not for the faint of heart.
Sure is not.
Sure
It
is
sure is not. No.
And so I just kind of, I know we're going to touch on that today because you and I have had some deep discussions about it and really understanding it. But, let's start off with the basics. Like, tell everyone a little bit about yourself. You were a Southern girl. You had a little bit different background and you got to this winemaking loveliness that you do now. But yeah, tell people more about who Kristin Taylor is, then maybe tell us a little bit more about good old Mom Juice. I'm always obsessed with this name. I can't get enough of it. But I'll let you have the floor for a little bit, and I'll throw in some questions and some quirks here and there.
Yeah.
But tell the
Thanks.
people
Uh,
who she
yeah.
is.
I originally am from Portsmouth, Virginia, so that's like Virginia Beach area. That's the general way to say it. So born and raised Southerner, as you said, and recently in the last 4.5-ish years moved to Denver, Colorado, which is a strange place to start a wine company. And I say that openly, knowing like
I was gonna say,
people.
Kristen, not a lot of grape going on around here.
So yeah, right. There's Colorado wine country like 4 hours away
True.
and all of that, but honestly, I started the company because I wasn't seeing what I wanted on the shelf. And I think being in Denver versus being in Annapolis actually been a really big advantage for me because I get to hang out with the people who are buying the wine, not people who are making it, right? It's really easy to make things in a vacuum
Yeah,
and make things a certain segment versus making wine for the rest of America, right? So
totally.
live in Denver, have a background in marketing and brand and event planning, and got started by becoming friends with liquor reps and doing big charity balls and all these galas and then smaller events with liquor companies and seeing how companies like Tito's would launch and have no customer base, right? But how they would launch into a city and get these people so excited and riled up about it and ordering it at the bar. And it becomes a brand based off of the experience people are getting with the brand. So
Yeah.
that's how I kind of backed into this. Moved to Denver, worked for Sling TV Dish Network, which nothing about that says wine, but I think I got a lot of my
Yep.
chops right on marketing. And also I understood what it was like to get a consistent paycheck for the first time. That was nice.
Always great.
And then, yeah, COVID happened and I had so much more time and helped these other two women start their wine company. Fast forward, my team that I had built, my boyfriend looked at me and they're like, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you doing this for everyone else except yourself? Like, you love this. You obviously have a passion for it.
Yep.
Why are you so scared?" And basically, I was like, "No, F you, I'm not scared," and got double dog dared into starting Mom Juice. So Mom juice, I think the phrase feels familiar to everyone because it's a colloquial saying that people have been saying forever,
Yeah.
right? Like, don't touch that, honey, that's mom's juice, or don't you dare touch that, that's mom's juice, aka to your
Yeah.
husband. There's like, it's just in every
Yeah.
community, regardless of what that juice is. You've heard this
Totally.
before. And when we were sitting in the aisle at Target and sitting on the floor looking at the wine, I was like, okay, but like, what's in this wine?
Right.
What am I putting into my body, right? Like being a Black woman, there's so many different crazy hormonal things and all the needs to know exactly what's in things. And in wine, there's no requirement to tell anyone, right? In wine,
Yeah.
liquor, beer, nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what would it look like if we put the ingredients on the back of our labels? What would it look like if we made a clean wine that still tasted good? So maybe not organic, no sugar, or maybe organic or low sugar and still really, really freaking good. And that's kind of how the tenets of Mom Juice was born, based off the community, experience, and also what we have in that glass, keeping it
Yeah.
nice and yeah.
That's amazing. And like, kudos to you. I think in today's society specifically, there's so much stuff that we put into our bodies that we just don't question.
Yeah.
And now all the studies are coming out about like plastic showing up in our bodies and all these different things. And so I literally was at the store yesterday and I was looking at all, because I'm really trying hard because, I got a new little one. And so I'm like, okay, I do glass bottles for him, everything. Because I'm like, oh, there's plastic and his milk and oh my gosh. And I'm looking at all the, different aisles and I'm like, most of our food is in plastic.
Yeah.
So that was a moment of like, okay, so we have to pick and choose where we're going to go, what's going to be important here. But totally love that you saw an opportunity and saw, you're like, listen, like, I want to know what I'm putting in my body as a woman, as a Black woman, and also like understanding that, that liquor and all that, they don't have the rules that most other things do. So they'll say like, hey, I just want to be honest about here's what you're putting in your body. It still tastes amazing and it's going to be great. You can still have the wine that you want, but it's going to actually be something that's not going to be harmful to you in the long run. Like, of course, I think everyone should take notes from you about this in general.
I mean, I don't think anyone here is selling alcohol as a health benefit, right? But
No.
we are saying like, cool. So you're ingesting this one thing, you're totally cool with it, but do you know about the 90 other things you're taking on that you didn't know about? I think that's where the accountability comes in for us, right? Is like, we need to be aware. And I love that you're doing glass bottles. I think the microplastic thing, I want to let you know that I have become so crunchy in the last few years of like, I'm like mid crunch. I'm not like full crunch, obviously. But I'm like, I have the glass bottles for my cleaning supplies and everything is non-fragrant now, or, I'm just consistently looking to do better.
Yeah.
And I think that's like our customer, someone who's wants to do better, but isn't willing to live a boring life. So what's that mean?
Totally. What does that look like? Still likes to have their glass of wine because, there is some health benefits to that glass of that deep red at night, all those good things. But totally hear you. I think, there's only so many places that you can fight the battles that we continue to fight every day when it comes to understanding like with the environment and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, like where can I make small changes that are going to be helpful for me in the long run, helpful for people in my life that I love, and what does that look like? So I'm with you. I think I'm becoming a mid crunch. So I'm excited.
I love it.
Excited we can be mid crunch together. So I can text you and be like, all right, I'm going to get this thoughts on this thing. So that's great. Absolutely love it. So I love that your founder story is basically someone was like, dare, double dare you. And you're like, okay, fine. Yeah. F you. Like, I will do this. Thank you very much. And you got pushed into this founder life. Like I said, you sat on that panel and we talked about, the real truth behind what founder life looks like.
Yeah.
Because as you and I have touched on many times, there's a very, I say, sugar coat that goes over what founder life is. Social media sugarcoats what founder life is. People out here traveling all the time be like, I am an entrepreneur and I barely work. And it's like, ooh, okay.
Barely work.
My
Yeah.
God. That looks nice. I'd like that one. So I just kind of want to talk more about it because I know, you have a really good story about, utilizing your community and those close to you. Because that was something as you found yourself in certain places in your life where you were questioning what was happening and what you were doing. I just kind of would love to hear more about, like how, when you got to points as a founder, when you found yourself maybe not doing the best you've ever been, what did that look like to help get you to where you are today? Because it was, we know it takes a village, doesn't it?
Or a vineyard.
Or love that.
Wink, wink. Yeah, I mean, I think one, community is everything when you're starting. I mean, not even just being a founder, business, right? Like starting a business, starting something from scratch, or I think we're seeing it now with content creation.
Yeah.
You have to have two things, right? Of like not caring what other people think.
Right.
And also having the support that this is going to be really hard and not knowing how hard this is going to be, right? Like that's really the thing. I think I got double dog dared into it, but I had no real idea of the mental aptitude this was going to take, right? From crying on my floor in my closet, like this is that moment people talk about where they give up. It could be cool to give up. That could be better. Or down to like, great, no health insurance, just got surgery a week ago. Great. Or I think people are glamorizing entrepreneurship so much that it's great to have other streams of income and to add things, and that's great. But like, it's not a money making experience for the first, I don't know, 5 years, right? Like, if you are rolling into this massive salary having a startup, there's probably something wrong. You probably shouldn't be flying first class unless the money's coming from somewhere else, right? Like, no judgments, like live your life.
Yes.
But there was a perception that I felt like I was stepping into and not properly or adequately prepared for what this experience was going to be. And here's the thing, I don't think anyone would do it if they knew.
No, God, no, no. If there was a pamphlet we all got when we first started that was like, so here are the realities of what your life's going to be like, I think all of us would be like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pass. Hard pass, actually.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it, right? Like, I could go get a fat corporate salary right now, right? Like, great experience building up, like, go get some fat $400,000 a year salary. Easy.
Totally.
If I was built that way, I would do it, but I'm not. So I think that's really what it is, right? Like, I've had the jobs, I've worked for agencies, I've worked for Dish and Sling, I've worked for these massive organizations down to midsize, and every time I was in there, I was trying to fix them because I realized that at the end of the day, I'm an operator and a practitioner, and I just have to do it. It's not an option. It's truly where I find my happiness. So I think if I didn't have that bone in me, I'd go live like a fat cat. But no, instead I work 24/7 and but I'm building something I really, really love, right? Yeah. And there's obviously trade-offs regardless of what you do, but
totally. And you and I have talked a lot about like, listen, like corporate America is corporate America. It's still not made for women. We know that. It was never made with women in mind. Do I think that women need to be in corporate America? Absolutely, because there needs to be change made. And we know I have some baddies who work in corporate America who I'm like making the change. I see them doing the things. I see them questioning the old crunchy white men, and I love it, and I'm here for it. But I'm the same as you. It's like I never felt comfortable in a lot of my jobs. I always felt like I was, I also have ADHD. So how I would work a lot of the time, would be like I would get like 2 days worth of work done in like 4 hours in the morning, just cramming stuff done. And then I'd like come up for air and I'd be like, oof. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with myself right now. Like, but I always wanted to be doing more, you know? And so I was just like, this isn't, I just never felt like I fit places.
Yeah.
And so when opportunity presented itself to take on this founder life, I was like, okay, it does look kind of nice from the outside. And it does, you know, it's like, ooh, look at, oh, I could be my own boss, make my own decisions, my own time, rules, all that stuff. And you get in, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, wow, I like a little bit more structure to this whole day and life and all these things. And it's all on you. It's like, there's no one telling you good job. There's no one telling you did great today. There's no one, you know, being like, you should get a raise tomorrow. And you're like, absolutely, I should get a raise tomorrow. You know, you're just like, am I going to be able to eat and pay my bills and do all these things? And I know you touched on this, and I think other founders need to hear this, that, you know, it's okay to have a job while you're figuring out your founder journey. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's actually, a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
It's very normal. So maybe you want to touch on that a little bit.
I mean, what I found ultimately is that stress is worse, right? The stress of not being able to pay your bills, the stress of not knowing if you're going to get evicted, the stress of not knowing, and I'm saying this as who went through all of it, right? Like, truly having a negative bank account as a grown woman is stressful.
Yeah.
And I will happily, if you tag me in any comment, I'm happy to buck anyone who says founders shouldn't take a salary if the business is earning money, a certain amount of money, like a money where it can sustain you, not take like without.
Yes. Please don't not pay yourself.
Right.
For the love of God.
Just, it's okay to have both, right? Like, I mean, I was the director.
Oh no, I can't hear you. Kristin, no, what happened? Oh, she's back. There she is. I got you now.
My Instagram timer went off of like, you spent too long on Instagram today.
You're like, I'm sorry, I'm being interviewed right now.
Interviewed.
I want you to sit down.
Plus, the fact is, I ignore that timer every day, so I don't know why.
And thank you for that little notice. And bye bye. There you go. Okay.
What was the last thing you heard from me? I'm so sorry.
I think it's okay to have both.
Oh yeah, it's okay to have both. I mean, I was the director of operations for a huge agency in Chicago, right? Like, pumping out massive work for massive hotels while building Mom Juice. I will say there is an inflection point that happens, right? There is a time where, like, that job wanted more from me. I couldn't do it. So that ended, and Mom Juice happened, and all of a sudden we were popping off. Like, that happens. Yeah. But you'll know when that's happening, and you'll know when it's not happening. And it's not happening at the beginning of starting the business. It's a bad move. I really think it's important to have that job, put the roof over your head, feed yourself, feed your family. I'm also not married. So there was that other stress too, of like, there's no one else to pick up this bill. Yeah. Someone has to make sure Kristin can pay her car note and feed herself, and maybe not go to a mental institution for extreme depression for having a negative account balance, right? Like, we need to normalize that being okay. And that doesn't make you less committed as a founder. I think actually it adds much more grit to know that you're willing to stay up until 3 a.m. because you had to work until 6 p.m. on your day job. And now you have so much passion, you're ready to fuel yourself through. I think that's powerful.
Yes. Agreed wholeheartedly. I think there's something you said, because like, you will get to the point, like you said, you'll get to the point that you're going to have to take a jump, and you do, and you'll get to that point, and you'll feel it, and you'll know it, and you'll go, and you'll see, like you said, there's money coming in. It's a different way. Mm-hmm. It's looking like, okay, I can do this now. I can take this step and try this founder life and understand it. That's why I always tell people too, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with, if the founder life doesn't work out, you can always get a job. And
there's no shame in that, right?
There's no shame in it at all.
And I think as women, we carry so much shame that men do not carry.
Yes.
Around failing, right? Like, we have so much more going on.
It's the good girl syndrome that we all have had for a very long time in our life. We can get into hours of that. Yeah. very much so. And I think it's just something to understand because it's like I've had friends who are like, founders who companies have just not gone the way they thought they were going to go. And they had to have that really hard conversation, look themselves in the mirror. And I was like, the difference is you actually took the risk. You did it. You have already done what most people won't do. So there's no shame against anything this is not where you find yourself now. This is not lining up with your life anymore. This is not helping in any way, shape, or form. You don't feel good about it anymore. Because that's what you and I have talked about many times. It's like, listen, if whatever you're going to go into, if you don't love the shit out of it, if it doesn't get you excited every day, if you're like, I could eat, breathe, lick this thing. Thank you, Saltburn, for that little image just popped in my head.
Drink this water.
Woo! And that dirt. But if those things are not in you about what you're doing, like you and I have, it's like I've had honest conversation with people. I'm like, don't do it then. Like, it's okay not to do. We all have ideas. It's okay not to act on all of them all the time. Because
it's so okay.
Yeah.
And I think there's also something about releasing things back into the world. I don't know. Have you read Big Magic?
Yes, I love Big Magic.
The whole idea of like an idea is not for you did not, this idea, you don't own it. No. It's okay to release it back, right? Like I've done that for several great startup ideas to the point of emailing it to founders who I know would have loved it, right? And some of them have taken it and they're killing it, right? I'm like, great. I'm so glad that's happening. But I know that I do not have the passion, even though this thing is very sellable, very acquirable. It's not a good use of my time and passion because I don't love it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't love it, didn't do it. But we do love mom juice.
We love mom juice.
Love mom juice.
Love the juice.
I do. I really do. Especially now that I'm a mom, I feel like I'm just like extra loving it. Tell me a little bit about your co-founder and your co-founder relationship.
Yeah. Macy Mincy, mom of 4, God bless her, 4 fantastic kids that I really like, which really helps our relationship. I think it'd be different if I didn't like them and get along with them, but I really do. She is one of the most innate kind people I know, right? Like her first instinct is kindness, right?
Yeah.
Her first instinct is to be there for you or show up for you or take on your burden because she sees that you need that help, right?
Yeah.
That's always her first interaction. She, at the same time, though, is a badass. So it's a very interesting dichotomy of a human, right? Like she also doesn't take shit. If she feels like you've crossed the line, God forbid, she feels like someone crossed the line to me, it's over. She's ready to tear them down. She will come at them like a puma. But at the same time, she is very funny. She's a great time. She's the girl you want to have a glass of wine with, right? Like she, like you want to call at 4 and be like, bitch, I gotta talk.
Yeah.
You available?
Yeah. Grab a bottle. Grab those glasses. Let's go.
But she had done this before, so I actually hired her first to consult on the company because I had never done a startup. And then things progressed, and she said, I think you should get a co-founder, someone who likes the finances, someone who likes to raise money. And I was like, great. And then she was like, I don't know if you'd ever consider me. I said, yes, immediately. And she's like, no, think about it. I was like, no, girl, I've been thinking about it for months. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Right.
I'm sending you the paperwork tomorrow, which I literally did. So yeah, it's been now 4 years, and I think we're probably 2 of the most unlikely friends, but we were business partners first, friends second, and I think that has to be this way with our co-founder relationship for what we're building. But we're very clear that this is a lifetime thing now, so I'm very excited.
Absolutely. I love that. Very similar. I feel like Emily and I are very similar. I'm just like, once we knew, we knew. And she also was very like, if you want someone to do this with you. And I was like, I thought you'd never ask. Absolutely.
Girl, I've been waiting for the ring.
Come on. Like, let's put some rings on it. Like, let's go. I'm ready for this. We are married now.
It's a marriage. Legally, it's just as hard to get out of. So I'm going with it's a marriage.
You're like, listen, we are in this until one of us is no longer here, basically.
Literally, I told her that. She's like, I would resurrect you.
She's like, listen, there's got to be a founder out there who's figuring that out right now.
Someone's working on that.
We'll get there. I love it. Something, I mean, obviously with Macy, like the love and connection that you guys have, and I think something that I really loved about Mom Juice is you guys talk about it, that it's the whole concept around bringing women like together, about like having a glass of wine while spending time with important people in your life, and that, specifically women, moms, that there's such a beautiful community in amongst us. Is it something that we've had for generations? You and I have touched on this many times. It's like it's how women survived for a long time.
Yeah.
Is the communities that we built around each other. So just kind of, I pulled some lines like online mom community is very strong and vocal. The kind of community bonding is the heart of our mission. I think obviously what she said is very similar in fact of like, that we want a community. We always say we're community first, tech enabled. I think you guys are community first, wine tipping next. Like you guys, like it very much what it is. It's very like this growth of this community, and then you have this beautiful wine that you guys develop to be healthy for the community, to be something that the community could bond over. So just kind of talk about like how, I think how the concept came about, because obviously, like you said, you looked at it as like, hey, like I really want to know what I'm putting in my body. It's important to me. But how did it become more of this like community aspect of like, let's bring all these women and moms and women together, and what that means?
So Macy and I were both going through really different transitions in our life.
Okay.
She was newly becoming a stepmom of 3, but primary mother in the relationship, which is fascinating and very, a lot of dichotomy.
Absolutely.
So she's finding herself through that community.
Okay.
And I was looking at the women who have helped me become who I am, and how we spent time together and how we enriched each other. And it was through our girls' nights. We used to do them weekly. And then, of course, we started getting married and having babies and all those things, right? And still continues. And then I moved and I didn't have that community, right? So I had to build that again. And so I made more wine nights, right? And built those bonds. And wine is an excuse to share stories. It is an excuse to talk about your aunt that used to love Cabernet and why you think she's hilarious to the recipe, or how your mom and you shared a glass of wine when you got a promotion, or there's this innate storytelling built in piece. And no matter what family you're from, no matter what background, what country, you have some experience. It's rooted in wine. Wine and food is rooted in community.
Absolutely.
And I wanted one again, right? Like I still love my girls in North Carolina, but I didn't have them here, right? So like I need to build community. Macy was searching for community as being a new mom, and now a new mom with a 9-month-old baby, she needed more of that community. And moms, we went into it because it's a community we were thrust into because of, honestly, age and finding those people and wanting to create that life and all of that. So I think it was a no-brainer. And it was something we didn't mean to necessarily do first, right? It just was who we already were and what we were looking for. And maybe that's why it worked so well, is because it was a really authentic outreach to a community of women that we loved and wanted to spend more time with. And it happened. Which I think what she said, right, is it's women looking for more women like them, women who are needing that connection, women who have the answer to the question other people have and want to share it, and vice versa, right? Like it's so powerful, that ecosystem that we can create.
Oh, well, you touched on that, like women, we go through different parts of our lives where we need different people in our lives, but end of the day, we always will need community, whatever that looks like. But whether it's like, you get married or you have a baby or you move or all these things, like you're still going to look for that community. So I love that the two of you were on those journeys of finding your communities again. And like, you still have your other communities, and now you have new communities, and it's just something wonderful. And it's like, that's how women take back the power a little bit. Someone's got to, and should probably be us doing it.
Honestly, the other options aren't looking great. So
yeah. What are you excited about with Mom Juice? What's I mean, we just started a new year.
Yeah,
I know some good
I
things
know
that have
some
happened with you.
great things.
Maybe you should share some of the what are you looking forward to this
One of our
year?
big things is closing our funding round, which gives me a really great segue into celebrating
Oh,
you.
stop.
I can't tell you the way I was when you said that on LinkedIn. I was fist pumping. That's why I commented multiple times because I was like, I hit enter too fast. I was like, I need
Too excited. We're too excited.
I'm so excited. But no, as you know, funding is like such a phenomenal feat to finish and accomplish, and I don't know what it feels like to close it yet, but it's so close.
You're so close.
I'm literally so close. So that's really big for us. We have a really big retail launch coming up soon, which I won't announce, but it's very big. And our non-alcoholic wine is coming out after that. So it's kind of like back to back to back and big events happening. And I don't know, I'm excited about, I think we are out of our extreme struggle era. We're now just in just struggle.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
We don't have to do
We'll take it.
everything extremes, Kristin. We can just have like a normal struggle.
Yeah.
Regular struggle.
That's what I'm excited about right now.
I love that. I mean, okay, I'm going to ask this question because I know I have people in my head, but if you could have someone represent Mom Juice,
Yeah.
anyone, your like dream people that would like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She embodies Mom Juice, I feel.
Totally brazen. She's been through it.
Yes.
Talented, underrated.
She's
funny.
Unapologetically herself.
Yes.
I love her.
Yeah.
And she's stunning.
Gorgeous.
Stunning.
Yes.
Every time I see a picture, I'm like, God damn, like,
right.
Beauty.
Okay.
Okay, so we're putting that energy out there.
Yeah. Kiki Palmer.
Okay.
Kiki Palmer.
I love it. 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 Now I have to ask you like a what she said question because of course I have to. I have to. You know, we're all about referrals. Mm-hmm. Love referrals.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I constantly now when I see my girls and stuff and I'm like, oh my God, like I have this new amazing friend. Her name's Kristin. She has this company, Mom Juice. You should check out the wine and I'll send a link to go buy the wine. Or I'll be like, it's at the store. Like I will let them know where it's at. Because that's what we do. Refer everyone.
Who we are.
And I had like that moment of like, I just met you. And then a new mom friend of mine posted herself on Instagram and she was like holding up 2 mom juices. And I was like, and I like went in and I was like, oh my God, like I just met the founder. She's amazing. You should keep drinking. She's like, oh my God, my friend got to me kind of like as a joke, but like it's amazing wine. Like I'm definitely gonna be drinking this all the time. And I'm like,
that's how we get people. It's worked really well.
We know that names and how that works, that functions is so important. Like we love playing on those words. We love taking back the power when it comes to women's things specifically. So Mom just always near and dear to my heart. But who is someone in your life? Because I know, you know, we all have our people. You have your people.
Yeah.
Who is the person you probably refer the most? Give it a shout out to some people in your life that you're like, these people, if you were in Denver, Colorado, or if you were in Carolina, any of those places.
Yeah.
You love and adore.
I think the people who have kept me sane have been, honestly, our accountant.
Yes.
And bookkeeper, Cassie and Elizabeth, who Elizabeth also invested in Mom Juice, which shows you even more so how wonderful she is. I didn't ask her to. She just one day said,
like, yes.
Here we go. But she came in a time where I felt really bad about what I just didn't know what I was doing. So I'm like, I don't know. Here's a list of 34 things I need help with. And within 1 week, she had it done, ready to go. Questions. So she's been amazing. RGO accounting. I'm happy to send anyone the link.
Love it.
Phenomenal woman. I would say my lawyer as well. Jason has been a great sounding board for big decisions, big contracts, negotiations. He's truly been in the room with Macy and I, regardless of what time of day it is. I'm like, I need to sign a contract. We could make $1 million from it, or I could lose $1 million. What should we do? And Jason's like, great, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about what's going on. He's also looked out really well for all the women in my life who need that attorney who's just more savvy with startups, but also really great at those really formational contracts that are going to change your time. Also, he gives a great rate for startups.
I feel you on that. Our lawyer, Dave, shout out to Dave. Also at Dorsey Legal, the same. Like that was one of those. I feel like we hired him because we had a soul connection with him. And that's how we hired. That's how we bring on most of our teams. It's like, okay, like, yeah, you have the resume and you have the this and you have these companies behind you, but like he was a soul connection and we have never been disappointed by that man. That man is always in our corner since day one. So get yourself a good lawyer.
Get yourself a good lawyer. Get yourself a good accountant. Get yourself a great therapist.
Shout out to the therapists who keep founders sane.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. My last shout out, and it's gonna be okay. Men's Hand Spa. I know it sounds really sad, but this is my place I go to get my back fixed and everything fixed when I am just in pain. It's $35, so it's a founder-friendly massage.
I love this.
Not sketchy. They're open till 8 p.m. So after you get off your day job and you're stressed, you can go get a massage. It's fantastic. There's one. I think it's in Arvada.
Listen,
those are random recommendations.
But no, they're not. It's very much I feel like it's a very founder referral of like, here's the like things that you're not good at as a founder. You should not do your own lawyering. You should not do your own accounting for the most part because you will mess it up. Bring people into your circle to help you if you can, because they will make your life so much easier. And at the same time, taking care of your mental health and your physical health. I feel like you just touched on all the basics here.
Okay, beautiful. Then I'll go with
Fantastic.
Yes. I'm going to say there's one new business I'm really excited to see open.
What is
people-owned Sacred Society on 38th.
Okay.
Kind of like a female wellness center.
Love that.
Really rooted in like just self-care, but in a really beautiful way.
Yeah.
So they're opening in like a couple weeks, so everyone go and support them.
I was going to say, so are you and I going to have a lady date there?
That would be great.
And then we can go get some wine.
Yeah, 1,000%. We'll do that and then head to Golden Hour.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So tell everyone, where can they continue to keep tabs on you, your journey, Mom Juice, like go ahead, shout out where they could, if they ever need to tell them all the things.
Yeah. So Mom Juice Wine is us on social. I am Kristin.Taylor on social, Kristin Taylor. You'll see my little face there. LinkedIn, Kristin Taylor as well. I do really well on LinkedIn and Instagram. Those are the two platforms to contact me on, or email. Mom Juice you can find at over 400 stores here in Colorado. So all of your local stores, depending on where you are, we're in the big ones, Bevies and Bubbles and Lucas and all of that. So please stop by, grab 8 bottles. You can also buy on momjuicewine.com. It gets to you in less than 2 days, which is really exciting. And it's Black History Month, so Dry January will be over. You'll need to support some Black-owned businesses, and we would love your support. So thank you.
It's like,
thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Kristin, as always, I adore you. Like I said, you're a founder I look up to so much for so many reasons. And also now that I know you, the human side of you, I'm just a little bit obsessed with you, but don't tell anyone. So thank you so much for your time today. I know we are busy people doing a lot of things. So appreciate you and can't wait to just continue to watch your journey, your growth, and to see Mom Juice and Kiki Palmer. If you're watching this, she's ready. They're ready. Mom Juice is ready for you.
And that's what she said.
And that's okay. It might drop. I have to stop it now. I can't keep going. I'll be awkward. So thank you. I adore you.
I adore you too. And congratulations again on your massive accomplishment. I don't know how much you've announced, but I'm so excited for you. It's so well deserved.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I will we'll chat soon. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Bye, sweetheart.
All right. Bye.